Hello, everyone, and welcome to Edison TV. My name is Jyoti Prakash, and I'm a healthcare director at the Edison Group. We are joined today by Kevin Crofton, the chairman of Creo Medical, a UK-listed medical technology company focused on the development and commercialization of minimally invasive electrosurgical devices. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Jyoti. It's nice to be here. Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you as well.
Thank you.
So, Kevin, you are an industry veteran in the semiconductor space, having led several large companies. Tell us a bit more about your background and what drew you to Creo Medical.
Yeah, you're right. I spent most of my life in the semiconductor industry, primarily building capital equipment and some of the subsystems used to actually make a semiconductor chip. And so that's where I've cut my teeth, and that's where I've learned quite a bit about various types of technologies that are used to manufacture chips. And it turns out that that Creo uses some of the same basic technologies. In my case, though, I was privileged enough to run some companies, as you mentioned, helped create and lead a company in South Wales called SBTS Technologies, which is a world leader in the capital equipment space. And, I'm really privileged to have been part of that. What is it about Creo? So, there's so many different things about Creo that I find absolutely fascinating and wonderful. First of all, it does have great technology. It uses RF and microwave power, advanced energy, to really provide a surgical type of process that's unheard of in the industry, really. And so I find the technology fascinating. I think also in my case, I can see a situation where the company has an opportunity to change people's lives for the better. We have the opportunity to help the NHS and the other systems around the world to save money by delivering a very efficient sort of result to their patients in a very positive way. And then maybe lastly, I'll leave it at this. I have a personal interest in this. If the Creo technology had been available, 3 to 4 years ago, I'm certain that my dad would still be alive today. My father passed away of metastasized colon cancer, and this technology initially is quite useful in removing tumors from the colon in a non-invasive way. And so if it had been around then, great. So I've got a personal vendetta to help this company be wildly successful.
Thanks, Kevin, for this introduction and your personal interest in the Creo technology. Now, the company is currently at an interesting juncture in its commercial journey, and the past year has been quite eventful, in particular with the divestiture of the European consumables business. How did this decision come about, and what do you think of this deal with Microtech?
Well, first of all, I think that you got to remember that the company bought what is called Creo Medical Europe about 4.5 years ago. It was formed for approximately 30 million pounds, plus or minus. And you could see from the transaction that the company has actually pulled that exact value and maybe slightly more already, in having only sold 51% of that business. So I think it's a great deal from a cash generative perspective. There's no doubt about that. There probably could have been other buyers in the marketplace for that part of the business. But for us, it was important to also not just generate cash, but to also be in a situation where we had a partner that could potentially be a partner for co-manufacturing, a partner for co-development, a partner that opens a larger area regionally, geographically. And it's most important probably to our investors that bringing that cash onto the company was non-dilutive. We didn't dilute anybody's position in the business. So it's quite a strategic partnership, not just an opportunity to put cash into the balance sheet. So all in all, it's a great deal for the company, and it helps fund the future of the company as well, and allows us to focus on our core, the core company technologies.
Seems like a good deal indeed. So with these 30 million euros in proceeds from the divestiture in hand, how do you plan to utilize the funds across your different business priorities?
Yeah, great. That's a great question. Thank you for that. I think the most important thing for Creo is that we have to concentrate on rapidly growing our revenue line and also expanding our global footprint with the products that we have, but also with the products that are coming in the next 12 to 18 months. So driving everything we can do is going to be invested in driving revenue growth for the company. So for example, we're going to be launching and delivering new clinical trials that expand our data set, expands the reach into potential partner doctors faster than we may have been able to with the limited resources that we had on hand before this deal. But it should accelerate our commercialization of these products and the company itself, and acquire a broader user base. And I think what it also does is it helps us fund critical advanced energy products, which I know we'll talk about in a few minutes, but they are really key to the success of the company. And also, we could use this cash to fund partnerships with third-party organizations, not just Microtech, for example, but potentially for contract manufacturing relationships or co-developing engineering relationships, that sort of thing that we didn't really have the bandwidth cash-wise to be able to fund. So it's absolutely critical that we take this money and use it in a very strategic way for the company.
Thanks, that was very helpful. And talking about your technology, core technology, the electrosurgical device portfolio, the launch of Speedboard Ultra Slim in late 2023 garnered significant market interest. How has the uptake been thus far? And what are some of the other launches we can expect this year?
Well, first of all, I think that I would say since the end of 2023 to where we are today, the uptick has been really quite excellent, with both existing customers that were already using the product, but also to gain new customers. Because once our clinicians and surgeons and doctors see the utility of the advanced energy capability, it starts to grow in and of itself in the marketplace, particularly when you think about esophageal indications or bariatric surgery activities that could also happen. And early clinical data that's being published literally in the last several months shows that the benefits of this advanced energy capability, in addition to the data that we already have from the NIH, shows the utility of these products. So over this next year, you're going to see various versions of the Speedboat Ultra Slim come across with some really interesting features just for these types of indications. I'm quite excited about what the future looks like for these products, and we've got to wait and see what the adoption rate looks like.
Exciting indeed. Moving on, licensing partnerships for your captive technology is one of the other main growth pillars for Creo. Your partnership with Intuitive Surgical has evolved over the period. Tell us, how significant is this partnership for Creo, and what kind of commercial opportunity do you see from this?
Well, look, as everyone's aware, Intuitive is the market leader it is one of the largest med tech companies in the world. To have an association and a partnership with them, it's hard to quantify what that means to a company of Creo's size. You just can't overstate how important it is to the company. Working with Intuitive in particular, when it comes into lung cancer diagnosis and screening, that's a real opportunity for the company. And between Intuitive and Creo, we've been able to do the world's first ever lung tumor ablation in London last year. I mean, that's a monumental success. And that sort of information is quite well recognized in the industry. So it sort of gives you a stamp of approval that we can leverage with other potential partners as well. And I should remind everybody, you know, lung cancer has a greater prevalence than the other 5 main cancers combined, and it's only increasing. So this is another opportunity for the company as well. So we know pulmonologists are excited about the technology. We believe that they're pulling for it. That's not to say that it doesn't take time to adopt. You know, doctors are conservative, right? They've been taught how to use a particular technique, and now we're doing missionary work with advanced energy capabilities that they've never experienced before. But we can see the momentum and we can see the opportunity. And Intuitive is helping us to be successful. And let's be clear, I think we're helping Intuitive be successful as well. So there's a mutual benefit that's going on here.
Great. We look forward to seeing how this collaboration develops. So a key focus of the recent 2024 trading update was the cost savings implemented in the second half of the year, and further more savings are expected in 2025. Where do you plan to derive these savings from, and how will it support the company's cash runway?
Yeah, so look, you know, it's always a painful process when you have to go through a cost reduction activity. It was apparent that the cost basis that the company was running on was not compatible with the revenue growth of the company as we were seeing it, which required us to go through some fairly significant decisions. In addition, though, don't forget we sold, you know, nearly half or just over half of Creo Medical Europe, which by definition also takes cost out of the company as well. So we needed to get a cost base down to a cash burn runway that is in line with the cash that we have, the growth of the business that we can actually see, and then marry that together in a balanced way. So we shed costs from Creo Medical Europe, of course. We also started looking at all of our support functions, IT, audit, you know, you name it, ESG, those costs, minimize or drop them as much as we possibly could. Even be strategic on the regulatory work that we're doing and with what product, in what regions. IP, how are we managing our IP? I mean, our IP portfolio is enormous. I mean, it's enormous for a company of its size. Well, there's a carrying cost associated with that. And if it's not being converted into revenue, if it's not being monetized, that's something that we needed to look at in a very, very, you know, precise way. So that has allowed us to streamline the business and focus on what we do really, really well and what we're going to need to be successful at in order to grow the business. And we've done a really good job. The team has done a really good job getting to this point in our growth and in the way the business model is set at this point. So those are the fundamental decisions we had to do. We have cash on board that will take us through what we believe will be profitability. We have to go prove that. We have to demonstrate it. But that's where we believe we are at this point. Had we not taken these actions, we would not have had that. We would not have had that runway ahead of us.
Great. Thank you for that explanation. And just to wrap up, what will be the key priorities for Creo in 2025 and some of the important milestones investors can expect over the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, I think I've already said it earlier in this interview, but I should really stress it. we are going to be releasing multiple products during the course of this next 12 to 18 months. And the way we have designed the business at this point has allowed us to go and create these businesses. So, or sorry, these product lines. So we'll see more advanced energy products that are derivative or that are how shall I say this, that are in line with the products that we already have that will be coming forward during this next, again, 12 to 18 months. So FDA clearance for Spider Blade. We'll get a launch of an ultra slim notch product. We'll launch a bipolar snare. I mean, these are all things that we must have in our portfolio to be successful and also to give our sales team a wider bundle of products that we can sell and be relevant in the marketplace. I think we're also going to see a next generation CROMA system as well. Now, what I hope that we'll see, and I'm going to say hope, it's not a strategy. Hope is that we will then also get a Comactive deal that is different to, or maybe with Intuitive or another. And I'm hoping that we're going to bring that across as well. And we have the opportunity to fund that sort of program. We're not going to do it at our cost. The Comactive companies will have to be coming to us, but we are positioned to be able to take advantage of that. So 5 new products and a larger portfolio that we can bring to market next year.
Excellent. Thank you, Kevin, for this discussion. It was a pleasure talking to you. We look
Thank you,
forward
Jen.
to following Creo's
It's
journey.
absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much.
For our audience wanting to learn more about Creo Medical, please refer to edisongroup.com. Thank you.